We are live here with former WCW superstar, former Friends actor on the hit show Friends, UFC pioneer, fought in many MMA fights, Huntington Beach, California, legendary street fighter, none other than David Tank Abbott from beautiful Arizona.
Yes.
Life up there.
Scottsdale, out here in the desert, loving it. Love Scottsdale, love the people. I'm happy. Love to be here. Love to talk to you, Devin. What's up? What's happening? Woohoo! I'm alive.
Yes, you made 4 years since your liver and kidney transplants. So why don't we start with a big congratulations on that?
Right on. Thank you very much, man. It's been an accomplishment, man. Woohoo! You don't know what it's like to wake up every day and just going, am I gonna live today? And every day you close your eyes, go, am I gonna wake up? Man, I got a transplant. Thank you, donors. If you can donate your organs, please do. My God, it's changed my life. The last 4 years, I've lived more than all the years prior. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. Right on.
What's been the hardest part since getting the new organs? Has there been some tough things about it, or has it all been positive?
Wow, man, it's a tough road. There's not too many people out there that are like me that pulled through it, and I'm very lucky and grateful. Man, I'm telling you, it's a long road, long, painful road. Cirrhosis doesn't happen overnight, and I was young, wild, and crazy, and indestructible, and I wasn't gonna die, and there's no way alcohol could kill me. I could control it. I was wrong. It killed me. But I put a stay on it, and I'm still here, man. Every day, woo! I'm here.
What was the wildest thing you ever did drunk in all of your adventures? I know you got several books out.
Yes.
But they're fiction, quote unquote.
Well, I wrote a book about Walter Fox, and Walter Fox is somebody who I would imagine as a fighter, and he goes through his life not knowing what the hell he's going to do, and he ends up fighting in a no-holds-barred fighting show and turned the world upside down. Thought I'd write something a little bit about what I knew about, and it's called Before There Are Rules. It is a novel, and a lot of people think that I'm Walter Fox, but Walter Fox couldn't hold a candle to me, that's for sure. Anyways, so the book's out. Check it out if you're into a good read. If you don't like it, put it down. It's no big deal.
Now, you were telling me yesterday if cell phone cameras were around during your Huntington Beach bad boy days, where you actually were the real Huntington Beach bad boy, you probably would be in jail.
Oh, I went to jail. You know, I've been in many street fights, hundreds, and it was a different time back in those days. No one kicked my ass ever. Groups of people have. I wouldn't back down to 5 or 10 people. As long as I got the one I wanted, I was going to get you. But it was a different time back then, and so I had my fun, and you were allowed to do those kind of things. I respect the law, and it was a different time. Let's just put it that way. And you could settle the score. It wasn't a big deal, and you went on about your life. Now it's a little bit different. Things change.
Yeah, there's all these mass shootings recently, especially in the US.
Did we lose you?
No, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I think we lost you.
Okay, well just keep talking.
Devin, I think we lost you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Want to call the cell phone?
Yeah, I'll call him on his cell phone.
See if we can get some audio right here.
Oh, you're calling.
We're calling you, Devin.
Okay. Well, we can hear
Out
you.
here in the desert.
We can hear you fine.
Okay, I just got your phone now. We got you back on.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Okay.
I don't get some feedback.
Can you hear me
I
now?
got to call from one more other phone because
Okay. There's a bit of a technical issue. Can you hear me still? They're just getting the technical issue fixed. I'm just going to tell him to go down the list of stuff he wanted to talk about. It happens when you're live. Sometimes this happens. Can you hear me?
do you remember when you rebooted it last time it went on? See if you can reboot it. We're going to try to reboot.
Okay.
Oh, you're calling.
We're calling you right now.
Okay.
On my phone.
You have reached mailbox number 6.
I didn't hear it. All right, guys, we are going to get this go. Whatever, they can't hear me, but we can hear them. I can hear you fine.
Yes.
So, Tank, you had a bunch of things you wanted to discuss. Why don't you just go through them if you're having these technical problems?
Oh, hey, no worries. Anyways. Oh, wow. Are we there?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, but I know you have the list of things you want to address, including the issues.
Okay, all right.
And
All
everything.
right, yeah. I'll talk about the Mercedes tunnel. All right. Yeah, so I'll just talk and then you can edit it.
And we'll call you back from the phone. Yes, exactly.
All right. Yeah, so wow. So anyway, so I was getting out of the hospital. I was in there forever and I finally got out. It was somewhere around I don't know. October, it was around Halloween. And I was really happy to get out. And I just was ecstatic about getting out and I looked forward to it. The whole time I was in the hospital, I was thinking, wow, man, it was a recovery place. That when I get out, I was going to go get a new car. And I was thinking of a Lamborghini and all these kind of things. And then I go, no, I could never climb into one of those right now. So I went to Mercedes, Fletcher Jones of Newport. I went in there and I have a couple of cars, Mercedes. I've had them since 1999. And I went in there and I said I wanted a 6.5 Mercedes, and my wife has a 550 SL, and I just wanted a new car. You know, I wanted to experience life, man. I'm alive. So, anyways, I got the car. Things were going great. My scheduled maintenance comes up. I take it in and I sit there forever. And I'm like, hello, it's just a maintenance check. What's taking forever? And it was like 28 days. A guy calls me up. I go to his office. Go in and, hey, took so long? What's the deal? Shrug his shoulder. He wouldn't make eye contact with me. It was very, very odd. Next thing I know, boom. We leave, everything seems to be A-okay. Decide to take a trip to Vegas, driving, easy going, cruising in just outside of Vegas there. And we're going up a grade there. And next thing you know, the car completely shuts down right at an off ramp. And we coasted into a casino just outside of there. And Fletcher Jones of Las Vegas shows up and takes the car. Well, they take the car, they fix it. It took 28 days to fix. They didn't fix it. It took 28 days to fix. So I'm asking, what the hell happened? And they said, you had a catastrophic failure. I'm like, oh, okay. And so it's already been in the shop almost 30 days. The thing's been in the shop for, God knows how long already. So next thing you know, Sally walked off. What were we talking about? I don't know where it was.
The Mercedes.
It took, we got it home because from.
Okay. So we go to Las Vegas, Fletcher Jones, Las Vegas. It took them over 28 days for this scheduled maintenance thing. And I'm asking the guy, hey, what's going on? He goes, hey, and there's like 5 or 6 different guys there. I couldn't tell you one of their names. And he tells me, he goes, hey, look at this. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, they found this car somewhere down in the south. They had it shipped to Beverly Hills, all over the country. And then they sent it to Newport. Fletcher Jones of Newport. And they called me up because the car that I originally went in for was in the shop and said, hey, we got your dream car. It came in. So I went down there, purchased it.
They did not tell you it was on the Carfax.
They did not tell me once I got the car in Fletcher Jones, Las Vegas, all the Carfax, everything that I explained to you. Anyways, the guy told me, hey, you got to get out of this car. And I said, can I have the papers and everything, a copy of them? And he said, I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. I called an attorney. Rewind, that's like 2 years ago, where we are now, and they just keep putting me off, I'm in a lawsuit with them. They keep putting it off. All I wanted is my money back. I wasn't trying to grip anybody. I'm not doing anything. Just wanted my money back. I love the Mercedes. I can't believe they're doing this to me. Anyways, I'm not a stranger to the courtroom, but I hope it doesn't go there. I hope they rectify things. Anyways, that's it. And as far as there's a lot of people out there that claim that I do steroids. I've never, just for the record, I don't care who does steroids, whatever who does steroids, I just take it as a given from all these people. But fact be told, I have never, ever, ever at any level touched or taken a steroid, ever. Personally, ever. I will take a lie detector test for anybody that thinks. I don't lift fake weights. I don't do any of that. It's all real. What else?
The Toxic Masculinity Podcast. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's it, Devin. I don't have anything. Yeah, but they're all just like little ha-has. Huh? You want to talk about party?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to talk about. That's ha-has.
Call them back on the phone.
Why don't you take the phones?
You should have given
Huh?
more enthusiastic.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what's going on. It's just like messed up.
I don't know why.
See if it'll pop on like it did last time.
Yeah. Sorry, fans, about whatever technical issues. He can't hear me. He did want to talk about his Mercedes-Benz issue. I would suggest, hey Sally, see if it'll work on the phone. If you just go directly on the phone. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. Otherwise, I'll just edit what he has into something. Right. But yeah, so try it right on the phone. That might be your best solution. Okay, so they're going to try to log right back in on the phone because they have some issue. But let's get into the wrestling news while we're waiting for this today. Cody Rhodes supposedly tore his chest, but he's still going to wrestle tonight at Hell in a Cell, but maybe he'll actually have to lose to Seth Rollins, even though he's beaten him all the way through every house show, since WrestleMania, because now he has an injury that he'll probably need surgery on. So Bryan Danielson's supposedly injured right now. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, a lot of injuries happening in wrestling. Long story short, yes, we are using StreamYard, but he's going to try to log back in right with his cell phone. So there he is. You know what? That's much clearer.
All right. Good.
How's the backdrop?
It's not as good, but we can hear and see you, and you can hear me.
Okay, cool.
Before we get back into it, someone wants to know, do you sell autographed pictures or autographed books? And if yes, how do they reach you about that?
Yes, I do, but
Self-addressed stamped envelope.
a self-addressed stamp envelope. I think my address is out there for everyone.
All right. And his wife is on Facebook. You can look her up. Or actually, you have a Instagram page.
Yeah.
Message your Instagram page.
I'm pretty bad at that too. So
Or you can message me on my Facebook, Sally Abbott.
yeah, Sally Abbott.
There you go. Now, you wanted to talk about Dawn and Dan's Toxic Masculinity podcast. I think they got about 26.
Yeah, I checked that out. I guess those guys, good for them. They're doing what is it? Some woke broadcast, toxic masculinity or something like that. Did he break his back? Don or did he?
He's had several back surgeries. I know he's got a lot of back problems.
Yeah. The Brokeback Cowboy and was that Dudley Do Right? Those guys are awesome. But no, seriously, I haven't seen it yet, but I plan on it. I wish him the best.
Someone wants to know what your best bench press is.
The most I ever did was 625. That's without drugs, steroids, ever, by the way. I have never, ever taken steroids. I'm putting it out there for everyone to know. I will take a lie detector test for anybody out there that wants to pay for it. I will do it by someone that's accredited, legit guy. I will do it. Set it up. I have never, ever taken steroids. All you pussies that take steroids, I didn't. And I don't really mean it that way. I don't really care. But if you're going to fight me, I mean, you should be fair. You should be fair. That's not fair.
Yeah, there's ways to get around it, and some of the federations. I've noticed some of those European federations don't seem to test at all. The one
Yeah,
that Marius
I-
Trigonovsky's in, or whatever his name is.
yeah, exactly. But it's up to you. Whatever you're into. If you're competing in a sport or something, that's different. But if you're taking it for whatever reasons you want to take it for, good. But as far as me bench pressing over 600 pounds and everything else, I've always been strong since forever. It's just the way it is.
Someone brings up here that they once saw you do a 2 or 3 plate upright row.
Yeah, the most I've ever done with upright rows was 365 pounds um, for fours. Um, didn't do them. I only did it one time, but yeah, that was the most I ever did with those. Yeah, and like I could do curls with 150-pound dumbbells. I could pretty much do. I got all natural strength, so it's not like I'm taking drugs and I'm working on certain muscles and they'll be strong. I've always been stronger than everyone. It's just the way it is. I'm lucky, I guess. Blessed, fortunate, all of the above. But yes, a very, very strong man.
Didn't your father recently die? He was a football coach or something. Did he kind of get you into lifting?
Oh yeah, my dad passed away. I just learned about it. We're not too close with my family and stuff like that, but I learned about it not too long ago. Yeah, he's a great man. He's a great dad, actually. And let that be known. My father was a football coach, and football was his passion. And he lived it. He coached high school football, played football forever. My brother, who's 5 years my senior, whom I had big brother envy forever, um, he was a football star. And we were the football family, man. And then after my brother, he's 5 years older than I was. After football, he went into wrestling, and I was his little brother tag along, 5 years as his junior. And he dragged me along into the wrestling room, and the rest is history. I fell in love with wrestling, and it was on.
Why do you think WWE never picked you up after your WCW run? Because you were one of the most popular professional wrestlers in WCW around the time they closed.
That was a really crazy ass time in my life. I was a crazy ass son of a bitch racing down the rails of hell. Man, I'm telling you, the things I did and the things I've seen would blow your mind. And I'm thinking about writing a book about uh, Walter Fox maybe getting into professional wrestling and doing the crazy things and the crazy life that I could imagine that went down. But of course, it would all be fiction.
Someone was asking earlier what happened to your kidney and liver for the fans that don't know
Uh,
what exactly happened that you needed them replaced.
okay, well, if you don't know, I'm pretty much the legendary party master, man. I was the biggest funaholic. You want to call me an alcoholic, go ahead. But I think it was eighth grade summer. Remember getting some beers, and I took a sip of that beer and got drunk as a skunk and said, "Woohoo, this is for me." And the snowball started rolling, and it got crazy out of control. And next thing you know, not going to happen to me. Oh, yeah. Next thing you know, I was full blown cirrhosis. Doesn't happen overnight. It happens, though. And next thing you know, you're in Cedar Sinai Life, Transplants, all the doctors. Oh my God, Dr. Nissan, the head transplant guy, a liver guy, doctor, physician. Oh my God, I can't talk enough about him. And there's one guy that I don't know, the Dr. Toto, the amazing Dr. Toto, awesome guy, great person, awesome doctor. Uh-oh, enough of that. Anyways, man, yes. So Cedars, I needed a liver because I partied too hard and didn't listen to anybody saying you're gonna die. Not me. I just put a stay on it. I'm so lucky. And every day, oh my God, woohoo, man. Nope, I don't get angry anymore.
Were you just drinking from the time you got up, or was this something that you would just drink start a dinner and drink all
Oh,
night, or how would you consume?
there is no such thing. Okay, let me explain to you how things evolve. And that is, I party all the way up to college. Lo and behold, going through college, I get a job at a liquor store. And so I was never in the need for booze. But, anyways, the parties got bigger and crazier. The next thing you know, you're dying. In fact, I can tell you after wrestling came to an end, I was dying. I knew I was dying, and it was clear as day. And it wasn't like I was signing up to go more of that lifestyle. Not that it's a crazy lifestyle if you live it and you want to do it. I mean, trust me, no one partied harder or drank harder than me that is alive, because I should be dead. For 4 years ago, I was dead, and I shouldn't be around. But I'm lucky I pulled it off. But I partied way too hard. Needed a liver and a kidney also.
Who would have been up there towards your level in WCW? Because there's been a lot of pretty heavy partiers in wrestling over the years. Bagwell is one of them that's still causing havoc with some of his incidents.
You know, to each his own. All those guys can do whatever they want to do. I kind of everybody just stays to their own beat, but I trust you, me. Best way to explain, even at the end of wrestling, is leaving Las Vegas, but more on the level of 10 times as crazy. It was like, what the hell am I going to do now? Like Ben Saunderson, the character that Nick Cage plays. Like, what the hell am I to do now? He goes, I guess I'm going to go to Vegas and drink myself to death. Well, I took the long route, and I did a lot of crazy. I'm telling you, listen, I know crazy people and crazy stories. No one could hold a candle to me. No one. And I know there's people out there going, oh yeah, I'm not in competition with anybody. If you were, man, you're crazy too, man. I hope you're alive. Anyways, but man, I'm a funaholic, man. I had so much fun.
What was interesting to me when I was over there visiting you was your love of the Smiths, and that when you were driving around looking for fights, you'd actually be listening to them, which is they're so relaxing. So I find that hilarious.
Oh, juxtaposed or whatever. No. The Smiths and violence. Not really. If you think about it, you're like, oh, lovesick over an ex-girlfriend. There could be some violence brewing somewhere. Somebody was mad at you or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. The Smiths. I could get angry at the Smiths. You know what? I have never really been mad. I guess I've been mad at people, but everybody that I ever beat up, and I beat up a lot of people. Oh yeah, I can already hear people. I used to be that guy on the other side of this interview. I'll kick your ass. I don't care. Um, as a friend once I heard say on a podcast, that's so far in my rearview mirror. I just don't. He said it much more eloquently than I did, but it's in my rearview mirror, man. I don't even go there anymore. But I forgot what I was talking about.
Well, there's a fan on here that wants to know how you
Oh,
came
the
up with
Smiths.
the. Oh yeah, the Smiths. Yeah.
So, it's about being violent and everything and hurting people. It's not about that. Anybody that I beat up was trying to do the same thing to me. And I'm just a little bit better at it.
Morrissey's coming to Vegas in July. Somebody says,
Oh, interesting.
and this
I
same
like
person.
I like Morrissey. Yes.
This same person wants to know about the over-the-shoulder flip move that you used to do in WCW, and why do you think nobody does that? It was such a cool move.
Well, I'm glad you noticed that. It was actually more of an amateur move. And when I first got into the WCW, I didn't know what the hell I was getting into. And so I kind of wanted to hold on to the reel. And that's kind of a finish, a good way to finish a nice double leg as you clear the top that way so you don't have any problems. And that's where it came from. I just kind of accentuated it. I'm kind of glad that you noticed that. That's cool. Thank you.
Rye Black wants to know, what are your current thoughts on Ken Shamrock? He's kind of dropped off the radar lately. He was an Impact for a while doing that stuff with Joey Ryan, but that was the last we kind of saw of him.
Yeah, God knows what's up with that old Ken. I don't know. I've never really had anything to do with him. He is what he is, I guess. I hope he's doing well. Um, hmm. I don't know. Good luck to him, whatever he is.
I did try to suggest to Rick Bassman when he was doing his podcast on this channel that he should have you on with Boss Rutan, since Boss was part of the podcast, but for some reason
Oh.
they never did that.
They could have. I guess him and the other little guy. What's his name? The little wrestler dude from Iowa, Pat Miletich. Yeah, I ran from that guy. Woohoo! And I'm gonna broker a fight deal with Boss Rutan, and I'm gonna throw out some contingencies. And we're gonna talk price over a fight. If I wanted to fight you in an airport, I think I'd stomp your little ass. So if you're gonna make up a story, make up a good one. Anything else you want to ask?
Someone wants
You know what?
to.
You be honest with you, I really don't care. What are you gonna say? Go ahead and say whatever you want to say. I'm just joking around about Boss and all that kind of stuff. Woohoo!
Well, now that you're in front of your pool, I did hear a podcast with Dan Severin, who I interviewed both of you guys out in front of that exact pool about a year or so ago, and he said he had to hold himself back from throwing you in the pool.
Oh, the good-natured, mannered boy got irritated. Yeah, he said I was arrogant. I thought I was being nice. What is it? It is what it is. I don't know. He was going to push me in the pool, he said. And I'll tell you what, Dudley Do Right. No one's going to be pushing me in no pool, arrogant or not. And if you do, you better start running, because when I get out, it's not going to be good for you. And I blow you one big crazy one. Even amateur wrestling, I think I could beat Dan Severin. I know my wife's in the background going, oh my God, competition. He's like you have to realize these old heavyweights, These pre-steroid heavyweight guys are not athletic guys. They're like big bulldozers, and they would push themselves around the mat, and then there's not much going on. That's why I always wrestled 190. I could have wrestled heavy. They're big, slow, and they're not nowhere near as strong as I am heavyweights. And toot. Anyways, I don't wrestle heavyweight, and that's what Dan Severn was, a heavyweight. And I had beat him 3-2. That's right.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're not athletes. Those big before those days. The heavyweights were big bulldozers, and they'd run into each other, and then they push each other around the mat. They're not athletic people. That's why my whole team went crazy when they picked the Samoan in the first real UFC fight without the Gracie twister matches going on. Everybody got bored over. And they put the first real fight on without any conflict of interest was me and the Matua. And he did the Matua. But he was, they back in those days, they didn't pick who was going to fight and everything. They had a little ball. This was the first thing, like a lottery ball, and you picked balls and stuff. Anyways, they picked me and the Samoan to fight, and my whole table jumped up. Woo, this is going to be great. Why? Because they're unathletic, slow, and big, huge punching bags, and I'm 10 times the strength as they are. That's why. Woohoo! I'm just joking around, people. Not really.
There's a fan on here that wants to know, during your UFC fights, which one do you think you performed the best in, and which loss pissed you off the most?
You know what? You talk about my record. Sit there and say, I don't want to hear excuses. Hey, excuses because you're a pussy. You would just take a loss, not me. All of my fights that I lost to, something was going on. Every single one of them. You did see the first show that I fought in? That was the only fight show that I really cared about. And that was, did you see the Macias winking and everything? It's pretty documented that Oleg fought some guy that did the job for him. And that it was all a big work, and Big John McCarthy never, ever stopped a fight ever. Oh, whoa, the first fight ever he stopped was mine. Why put us on our feet? Why do you do all that kind of stuff? And then you want to talk about tough. You want to talk about Dan Severn is tough. This is the first time ever in the world that anybody saw a guillotine. No one knew what submission was. No one knew arm locks or any of this kind of stuff. So the guillotine, Shamrock gets Severn in a guillotine. Watch that show. Go get UFC 6 and see how long that tough son of a bitch Dudley Do-Right fights that off that guillotine. He starts slapping that mat so fast, he looked like a fish on a wrestling mat. And then that goes down. It's just, there's your tough guy. That's your Severn. That's your Dudley Do-Right. He's going to push me in the water.
Do you think Don Fry got his voice from drinking out of the horse water?
Oh, probably. The Brokeback Cowboy. I could see that. I hope he's doing good. I hope that show, that toxic masculinity, they could get like that swimmer that that's competing like a woman. They could get that guy on, and or her, whatever she is, to interview her. A toxic masculinity, doesn't that fit? Hey, I should be a booker for your show. Come on.
Would you appear on their show if they had you on? I'm sure the fans would love to see that.
Oh, I don't think they would know what to do. Brokeback might get out of the chair and attack me, and then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and forth. And then I'd have to go back and for Dudley Do-Right will be over there shaking his head back and forth with his arms crossed, going, "Well, that doesn't make sense there. I hope those boys don't do that." Oh, Lord.
Ryan wants to know if you think Don Fry was on the juice. I can pretty much guess your answer.
I don't know, but look at that face. You know what? There's nothing. Check this out. We all know that I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but like you got Arby's, like you think about that, right? Arby's, ARBY, but it's actually RB, roast beef. Now, where was I going with that? What was I talking about before roast beef?
Would Don Fry have taken steroids? Someone wanted.
So you got this Arby's, like roast beef, but you think it's Arby's, like the restaurant. So you got Don Fry, my wife's laughing at me. Please go back before Arby's again.
What do you?
What were we talking about? Arby's and what?
Steroids.
Oh, steroids. Oh, so roid head. You know, I never put two and two together when I was going, oh, roid head. That guy's a roid head. Well, do you realize that they're roid heads? Look at all the 190-pounder class. Everybody in that like heavyweight, that whole crew, except for the guy that dad sells pillows with the mohawk and the Japanese writing on his head. They all look like they're on the gas, man. They're sauced up. Their head, they have that roid head look. Like, you know, whatever. I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah, many of the original UFC fighters and Pride fighters were on it. So
Yeah, and you know what? I've never taken them. I've been around it. Obviously, I'm a professional wrestling and professional athletics. I've seen it, and I don't know what the deal is. Why you guys like to do them, and who does them, and you guys are all crazy out there. Who does them? I don't know. What does
Lacey
it do
wants to
for you?
know how. Someone wants to know how ready were you when you fought Kimbo Slice? How much notice did you have for that one?
I was ready for that fight. It was all good. It was a all right fight. Yeah, the warrior fighter in me is not going to say, "Oh wow, he hit me in the back of the head," and that's what happened. I don't know what happened, but oh, that's not legal. Um, we did have a long meeting because the two street fighters and Showtime was all scared about it was going to be a negative situation and please play by the rules. So I was like, I'm just going to take him down. He can't hit me in the back of the head. He hit me in the back of the head. Who cares? He won. I don't care. But yeah, I was totally ready for that fight.
Now, you were telling me on the phone about the last fight against the native guy that you weren't ready for and you don't think you should have been in the ring with or the cage that day.
I was telling you about my final hoorah went with wrestling, and I left, and then I was just living, man. I was on my way to Vegas and drinking like a fish, man. I was going all over the world and doing all sorts of crazy, dumb things, and just whoa. Anyways, where was I at? I got lost. Sorry.
Your last fight that you shouldn't have had.
Oh, so uh, I was pretty much knew before I came back on my comeback after wrestling that I had cirrhosis and that I was going to die basically unless I got a transplant. And the writing was on the wall. I'm like, well, you got to live, man. You don't just lay around and go, oh, when's the death date coming? So I was out there training and fighting and doing whatever I could. And I signed a deal with Dana to fight 3 fights. And I should have never, ever been out there. And then it went on and on and on. I should just never ever think. My last 3 fights, I tried to fight Severn again out here in Phoenix. I couldn't pass the physical. And then my very last fight against Warpath, um, I was there at some Indian reservation where they don't do any medical on you. And I went there and I was pondering, what the hell am I going to do? I can die in the ring. And I said, well, I'm going to die with my boots on. I'm a warrior. That's the way I'm going to go out. And so that you, before a fight, you have like a little dressing room area in the whole 9 yards. And it was right next to the casino hotel. I walked upstairs into the room and I said to Paul Herrera, I said, hey man, I don't feel good. Come get me 5 minutes before the show. He came and got me 5 minutes before the show. I walked out of my room, walked right into the octagon, started fighting. And that was my swan song. Goodbye. And then I went home and died. And the doctors and donors brought me back. And here I am. 4 years. 4 years, man. Yeah. Woo!
Devin remembers it again.
And you're out of Huntington Beach, so you don't have to run into Tito anymore, although I don't think he lives there anymore.
No, he doesn't live there anymore, I don't think. I think he moved to Florida or what have you. Good luck to that guy, boy, right? He's right up there now in the annals of the UFC history. He goes down with Josan and who's that other guy, the Mayhem Miller guy. Those three are the three musketeers of the UFC. Their families should be so proud.
Someone wants to know, were you afraid to fight Yoji Anjo?
I'm not afraid of anybody alive. I don't care. But he's a tough man.
Someone wants to know, did you ever fight in Japan?
Yes. Angie. Or what was it? Oh, yeah, I fought Anjo.
Oh, that's the guy that you fought in Japan.
Yeah. In UFCJ, the first time in Japan. I was the flagship of the show back in those days, baby.
Yeah, you were. How were you paid for Friends compared to UFC? Did you make more money from that TV show appearance than for real fighting?
And I think they paid me scale. Really deal that they were all excited. And mind you, I'm not about all of this. Let's go be famous stuff. And the guy that was like the COO of Semaphore at the time calls me up. He goes, hey, are you sitting down? And I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on now? And he goes, you're going to be on Friends. And I'm like, okay, who's my friend? And he's like, no, this is the biggest show out there. And I'm like, I don't know even what the hell that is. And the most I ever watched of TV back in those days, if I wasn't in a bar, was the History Channel. Yeah, so I met all these stars and everything. I didn't know who the hell they were. The only one that was really cool that went out of his way was that David Schwimmer guy. He was really cool. Jennifer Aniston's hot. She's pretty cute. Back in those days.
Did you ever have any more acting offers, or you were just really focused on fighting in those days?
No, I wasn't really focused on anything. As far as acting kind of stuff, I did some goofy ass stuff, and every time I guess they have something like. Anyways, I always would look at myself outside of myself. There's a term for it, and just go, "You look like a jackass. What the hell are you doing?" And I did a few of those things, and then I said, "No, no, 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 no. I don't need to do this kind of stuff." Then I got into professional wrestling, where all you have to do is be yourself if you're good.
Do you still keep in contact with anyone from pro wrestling?
Not really. But that's, I don't really keep in contact with anybody from any part of my life back in those days. I'm like a boat, man. I'm down the river onto another lake.
Someone's asking how you got the name Tank.
Oh boy, fucking back in the day, pardon my French. Um, Back in the day, I went to go to the UFC to fight, and the guy there was Art Davie, and it's like, hey, this is a martial arts show. You need a black belt and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, I've wrestled my whole life. I'm a wrestler, an American wrestler, and that's real fighting. Not real fighting, but that's real combat, martial arts, American wrestling. He said, oh, too bad. We already got one. We got Dan Severn. I said, hey, listen, man, I just got out of jail for beating somebody up. I'm a street fighter, man. Street fighting is, I'm a very technical wrestler and I'm a very technical boxer. But when it comes to the street, I can get down. That's a whole different ball of wax. And so, what was I before I got off on a tangent? Who knows? Where were we at?
If you were friends with anyone
Oh,
in wrestling.
oh yeah, but so no, I don't really talk to anybody from then. But they were all cool people, man. They get it. It's not about acting a certain way or being a certain thing. It's just making money and having fun. That's me, funaholic. Woohoo!
Joe wants to know, besides wrestling and boxing, is there any other styles that you trained in during your martial arts days?
Oh, absolutely. You have to be a fool if you don't watch jiu-jitsu. Gracie jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I mean, very effective stuff. You better know what the hell you're doing, and it's not a solve-all by any means, but it's definitely effective. And yes, I've rolled with some very world-class jiu-jitsu players. And any other questions?
Have you been watching MMA at all lately?
I have not. I plan on it, but I never do. Just never works out for me. These
What do
kids
you
are tough, though, man. They get out there and do their thing.
What do you think about the whole John Jones situation where he hasn't fought in years due to contract disputes?
That's all business kind of stuff. And I'm the last person to talk about that kind of stuff. But, if it's your passion, and you should be able to find something that makes sense for everybody, right? I don't know. Good luck to the guy, man. Whatever. Make as much money as you can. It's got to be a number where everybody's happy.
Then there's a situation where you have Francis Ngannou, who's technically the heavyweight champion, that his contract is running out, but he can make more money to have a boxing match with Tyson Fury as an exhibition boxing match. So he's saying he's going to do that first. Do you think that's a wise decision to go where the money is, because the money doesn't seem to be in UFC?
Yeah, don't ask me about business. I'm sure they got it all handled, but I'm old school, man. Handshake. But you know what? Very few people are like that anymore. So, gotta BYA.
That's very true. James wants to know, who was the hardest puncher you ever fought?
Don't know about the hardest puncher, because when you get caught, you don't know. You get caught. I'll tell you, Kimbo Slice was a strong son of a bitch. I'm always stronger than everybody, but I could feel his strength. He was strong. That that's all I got. You don't know when someone hits you hard. You get your head caught in a choke or something, and you get catching some shots. Oh well, that's the beauty of it, man. Fighting's fun, man. It's just the whole thing. Oh, it is. It's cool. It's it's true. It's closest to being pure as you can get.
Mike wants to know if you'd ever be a manager in pro wrestling if someone made you the offer, a company out there.
Oh, I'll do anything. But hey, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I had a great manager idea, but it would. It's not. I'm not gonna. I misspoke. Nah. It would be fun. Anything's fun, man. Everything's great. Like you're talking about me, like in the Smiths. I like ICP, Michael Franti, anything all across the spectrum. The Doors, Sex Pistols.
Yeah, the Doors are probably my favorite. I listen to them every day. But someone had an ICP question earlier. They wanted to know if you still follow them and listen to them. I know you have the ICP bike in your garage last time I was there.
Yeah. I rode that across the nation, around the whole thing. Hot dog Cadillac. Woo-hoo. Those are the days. More to be had. Um, uh, yeah, ICP. So I got all the jokers on my fairing out there in front there. But yeah, no, ICP is I still listen to them. I'm a juggalo. My wife's a juggalette. Yeah, and who's that cat? That Greg Valentine. Uh, we had some scheduling um, problems. I was going to go on his show and talk with him about ICP or something.
I'd like to see you do some sort of interview with ICP.
Oh well, you never know. I enjoy Violent J and Shaggy.
Joe wants to know why your Ken Shamrock fight never happened since it seemed like you had a natural rivalry.
Once, maybe twice. Okay, but it seemed like he always had an excuse not to fight me. He hurt his hand with Brian Johnson, and then he tested positive for steroids, and then he couldn't make it for another thing. I'm always willing. You talk about everybody talks about me not being in shape and all that kind of stuff. I'm always willing to show up and fight. Now, like Shamrock and all that, everything's got to be perfect for everything. Not me. I just show up and fight, and that's Shamrock is Shamrock.
Someone's asking if you remember anything from when you passed away on the operating table.
Oh yeah.
What drove you to keep fighting?
Just me being me that kept me going to keep going. And yeah, I was on the table. You see, once you get cirrhosis and then you get sick, I went to the hospital after a while, after years of living crazy. To the hospital, I couldn't take it anymore. As a doctor, I went to a thing. She goes, "You need to go to the hospital immediately, or you're gonna die." And I went there, and this Dr. Sani turned me on to Cedars, and I'm alive. And that's all that matters.
Someone wants to know who's tougher in your opinion, Vitor or Maurice Smith?
Well, I think it's pretty common knowledge that Vitor is chemically induced and helped. So, really, to discuss any of his wins or losses to me is a moot point. He won against me. Uh, he knocked me out. Steroids had nothing to do with it. So he caught me. Oh well. Um, so for him to fight Maurice Smith, I mean, it's just not really fair. I can't even tell you uh, a winner like I would like to say, oh, probably Vitor, but how do you know what Vitor really is? You can't.
Ryan wants to know, Do you think you could beat Dana White in a boxing match?
That's like a question. Could I beat up Ronda Rousey? Um, what kind of point is that? Sure.
At one point, he had challenged Tito Ortiz or something to a boxing
Oh,
match.
that thing. I've rolled with Tito, which he's supposed to be some fantastic wrestler for a long time. He's not all that, and I know about his boxing. And Dana would take Tito's head off, would just kill him. We all
Well,
saw
there's a
it.
good quote.
I was gonna say, didn't you just see who that thriller fight or triller fight thing? That guy just knocked the hell out of Tito. That's probably what happened with Dana. Dana would do that to Tito.
Yeah, I think that
Who
was
was
the
that
end of
little
his boxing
spider?
career.
Yeah, the little spider guy.
Yeah, I don't think he has any more
Anderson.
fights coming up.
Yeah, so yeah, he's he's Tito. Good for him.
Tanner wants to know your opinion on Big Country Roy Nelson.
You know what? I've seen bits and pieces of him. I don't know the man, so I haven't seen enough of him and don't know enough of him. So he must be a killer, and I think he looks great.
Did you have a favorite opponent? Somebody wants to know.
Probably the Samoan, and only metaphorically because he meant so much more to me. It was all more than a fight of who's better and who's worse. In my life, it meant something monumentous to me. It was like the summit of the meaning of your life. It happened on that day, July 14th, 1995.
Apparently, you have the same birthday as Cain Velasquez. What do you think about all the controversy going on with him? It looks like he's going to be in prison for a while, and there's some people, like I believe Don Fry, for instance, thinks that there should be no punishment for the shooting that he did.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's just terrible stuff. And you got to be out of your mind to think anything otherwise. I mean, it's just, I wish the best of luck to the guy.
Now, you said you don't really like talking about the business side of it, but this guy wants to know your opinion on the controversy surrounding UFC fighter pay. Do you think it's warranted, or is it misunderstood?
Yeah, I'm not so much into all of the pay stuff and all that kind of stuff. See, my paradigm or the way I come at this whole thing, and that is my first show, I fought for $2,000. There was not like people are gonna know who you are, and oh my God. And then it was slowly evolved into this like thing of like it was a fast track to become a star, and all these idiots come out of the woodwork and pretending like they're tough guys. It was like a reincarnation of high school or something. All these bozos walking around like they're tough guys, like they're used car salesmen doing rap, telling you how tough they are. And it's just like, I don't know. Now it's just like, so that's the money we got paid, like $2,000. Now these guys are talking about millions of dollars, and God bless them, and woohoo, great for you, man. Get it all you can, but it's hard for me to relate to. That's all. Not really about making money, but just the whole point of it all. I mean, it's more than making money or being famous. It's about a way of life for me, anyways.
Mike wants to know what your college record was in wrestling.
So I don't even know. To be honest with you, don't know. I can tell you this: I had a bad day at the state tournament, and I think I got fifth. But in every tournament picture that I had throughout the year, everyone that was above me, I beat. It just wasn't my day at that day. But whatever, it doesn't. Things like that don't mean that much to me. I remember when the first time I fought Maurice Smith, Blatnick was alive, and I think it was in New Orleans or something like that. And mind you, so there's all these people that go out there, these dilettantes that fucking get into this fighting thing, and one thing is, well, everybody, these charlatans that act like they're warriors and everything like that, they turncoat and run to Japan and fight for pride and turn their back on contracts for the UFC people. And they left it a show there where no one was going to be able to watch and no one would fight because they didn't have any adequate time for anybody to fight Maurice Smith. Guess who said, hey, I don't care about that. Just say I didn't have any time. Did you think to train? I just got off the bar stool and I walked in here. You think they said anything? No. Nope, 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 nope. Don't ever trust these guys, man. Anyways, that's the story of learning through life. There's good people out there and bad people, and whatever. That's what happened with the Maurice Smith fight. That's why I didn't show up in shape. Not, oh, look at him, he's out of shape. That's how I look. I don't take steroids. That's how my body looks, bro. I mean, that's how it is.
Did they ever put out an action figure of you?
Yes, WCW did.
Oh,
Jack
cool.
Specific.
Yeah, that's probably got to be worth something now.
It wasn't a UFC one. It was a wrestling one.
Ark wants to know if you remember the very first fight you ever had in your life, in not including sports, I guess.
Yeah. I do, as a matter of fact. And I was my parents, mind you. My brother's 5 years older than me. My sister's 8. So I was like the pet, the latchkey kid. And we lived in an apartment complex. My father just got back from college, and he was teaching down at a high school, and we got in this fight with another kid from the apartment complex. And I remember fighting, and we were getting down. We're just two little kids, and I remember getting my feet on his shoulder blades and ripping his hair out of his head and getting crazy. And I ripped his face off with my hands and the whole 9 yards, and beat him up pretty good. And he ran home. And God, it was before 4th grade, and I didn't see him for like 2 or 3 days. And then I saw him at school. He was all beat up pretty good. That was my first fight. I had to been 9, 8 years old. Pretty good memory.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a pretty brutal one as well.
Yeah, for two little kids. Wonder whatever happened to the other kid. I fucked him up. I mean, I messed him up pretty good.
Yeah. Now, someone wants to know if you were still under contract when WCW went out of business.
Yeah, certainly was. Yeah, they finished me out, and I thought about calling WE, and man, I was crazy. And you asked me about did I party? Like I party. There was no such thing as a time or clocks or anything. I was very fortunate. Um, I had a little bit of money stashed away, and I was leaving Las Vegas, and I crazy, man, crazy. And so wrestling was over, and if I would have continued with WWE, God knows what would have happened. Probably would have died on the road somewhere.
David wants to know who would win in a fight now between you and Butterbeat. I think it's safe to say you would, since he walks with a walker. Last I saw, and I believe Don Fry has a cane too. So
I'll tell you what, I'll do the job for either one of those guys. That's how much I care. Who cares?
I think that you and Don Fry would still draw. To be perfectly honest with you, people would want to see that.
Be honest with you, I beat the hell out of that old guy. He got lucky when he stepped on my foot. He's so lucky. Oh my God. Uh, hey, every dog has his day.
Lance Arms Gone says, "How long were you on the waiting list for your liver?"
Not very. Think, not mind you. After Dr. Sani turned me on to Sally. After Dr. Sani, on my phone dying. Anyways, so Dr. Sani sent me to Cedars. I'm sorry, Devin. What was I talking about?
How long you were on the waiting list for your liver?
Oh, so you're there, and they say they don't tell you this, but they go, okay, come back in 2 weeks. Come back in this, and so I did that for a year and a half or so, and they're just waiting for you to die, Sally. And so they're just waiting for you to die. This is going to die. And on the phone. So they're waiting for you to die. So you keep on checking back into the what do you call it? The hospital every couple of weeks. So I went in there, and they said you're gonna moving anyway. So you go in there, and then you go. Guess what? You're not going home today. You're dying. And I guess I was in a full kidney shutdown. And they wheeled me over to the hospital, and I was there for 6 days. And I guess I got a kidney. I was basically on my deathbed. And so next thing I know, I wake up like 6 weeks later from ICU, pretty much in a comatose state. I was chewing my mouth. I guess I had multiple strokes, 5 plus more, and I was lucky to be alive. I died, and so I guess I was on the list for 6 days.
And how old were you at that time?
Well, 4 years ago, 52, I think. So I'm
Very young.
57 now. So whatever was it, 53, 54, what, 52 or 53, something like that.
Michael Collins is wondering if your current state of residence, Arizona, is good for you health-wise.
Oh, absolutely. I love it out here. I grew up in Huntington Beach, basically on the water, not on the water, but on the beach, but ocean, ocean, ocean. And I moved out here to an ocean of saguaros. I love it out here in the desert. You've been out here. It's awesome.
Yeah, you have to take dirt roads to get to your house, and
Yes.
no one's going to bother you there.
No, I love it here. Me and my dogs. And
You never had kids, did you? Someone's asking if there's going to be another generation of you in the business.
No, I like to pride myself on being responsible. And I was under the impression that I wasn't really responsible enough or in my life to bring a child into. that kind of situation. So I chose not to. And so I am childless.
Someone's asking, was it hard for you to stop drinking? A lot of people can never stop.
That's a true statement. And you want to know what? No, it wasn't hard for me to stop drinking. Um, I just had to know that it was going to kill me. And of course, nothing's going to kill me. And once I found that out, I just put it down. I can't. I can. I can stop drinking anytime. I'm a funaholic. I'm not a slave to alcohol.
Someone's asking if you believe in God.
I don't know if I want to call it God, but I died and I went somewhere. I wasn't gone. My conscience was still there. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to take it or what have you, but just because you're leaving this body doesn't mean you're gone. Does that mean there's God? You know what? I'm an agnostic. I'll find out when I get there.
What would be your best advice for someone getting into MMA today? It's so much different than when you started. There's a lot more money in it and a lot more jobs too.
Yeah, well, if that's what you want to do, fine. But I don't, it's kind of funny. You're looking for money? Are you looking to be famous? Are you looking to do whatever? That never entered my mind. It was never ever even something to think about. So like should I do it for money? It's like saying, do you want to be an attorney or you want to be a policeman? I mean, I don't know. It's a different way of looking at things. Just call me an old man.
What do you think you would have done if you didn't get into fighting? I know you were studying history in college.
Well, I probably would have got around to going to law school, although I was hell bent on being a teenager, and I hell raising non-grown up as long as I could, and I made it to 52-ish. So there I am. I got to stay on my death. I wake up every morning and everybody should do it and just go, oh my God, no matter how bad things get, trust me, I know how bad things can get. And just go, oh my God, it's so great to be here. You don't know, man, till you almost lose it. You could have everything you want, but you would give it up just for these extra 4 years. And knowing that I got them every day, you wake up and you go, whoa, I'm awake. I can't believe it. Yeah, I never did that before. I do it now.
I noticed Mark Coleman was congratulating you on your 4 years since transplants. What do you think of him being sober for about a year now?
Good luck to him, man. Alcohol, come on. Alcohol is a great time. It can screw your life up. It can kill you. But man, it's a great time. Man, if you can manage it well and it doesn't screw your life up, have at it. I try to be responsible. I try to do the right things. I didn't have children. I have stepchildren that I love, and that's good enough for me. I don't need that kind of stuff.
Have you been following at all the going on with Sunny, former WWE manager? You might have known her from WCW. That election.
I don't know her, but man, alcohol once again. I can you get in with someone that's bound to be irresponsible. It just accentuates and it takes away your inhibitions for being responsible. You're an irresponsible person, and God, Oh my God. I have no sympathy for that woman. It makes me sick. It turns my stomach.
I guess she was in WCW before you.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do with her, but alcohol is an insidious disease. And man, it's not for the irresponsible. And, you know, for the irresponsible that take down their families and all the other stuff with them, it's bad. But it's like a gun issue. You can't throw guns away because some crazy person went and shot everything, and you can't get rid of alcohol or call all alcohol bad, because man, it it supplied me with one of the craziest lives I've ever seen. I've seen, but trust me, I'm going to write a book about it. Walter Fox, funaholic. Something about him getting. I think I'm going to start with Walter Fox getting the final realization that wrestling is coming to an end, and it's funaholic is just beginning. I used to, man, I used to stay at hotels up and down Sunset Boulevard, and all the trappings, all the crazy stuff. Oh my Lord. Woo!
There's a fan on here that wants to know what was the biggest MMA payday you ever had, which you might not want to say. I do believe you made more money with WCW overall.
Yeah, wrestling is good. I did all right with fighting. It doesn't matter, really doesn't. It doesn't matter how much money I make. I'll be comfortable for the rest of my life. Supposed to make it with transplants and everything, especially if you have 2 to 101 years old.
Yeah, well,
That's
Billy
why.
Graham is
That's
still
that's.
going with his liver transplant.
I was gonna say that's why the waiting list is so hard to get on. You get that many more years.
Well, I hope you make that many more years. You did marry your wife's much younger, isn't she? Sally, isn't she? You did
Oh,
very well
I'm
for
not gonna give her secret away, but she said you're awesome, but she's a year older or a month older than me.
That's the truth.
That is the truth.
Philip wants to know if you idolized any wrestlers or fighters growing up.
Believe it or not, you want to have like a game. Who would you think I would be as a boxer? Who do you think, like during like the Tyson era? What kind of boxer do you think I would like? Just from out there.
George Foreman, maybe.
Yeah, you nailed it right on that. I thought that was gonna be a hard one. No, I loved George. I
You
got a
ever meet
funny
him?
ass story. I have a funny ass story way before I was Tank. No, about George. Thank God there. Thank God things come and save me. But I'm telling you, I go to watch. I was into boxing, man, and I couldn't box my whole life. My mom was like, "No way, you have brain problems and all that kind of stuff. You're not doing it." And of course, I have respect for my parents and everything else. Of course, I listened to my mother. I turned 18. I got in a bad car accident. My 19th birthday, got my teeth knocked out, got my knee banged up really bad. Wrestling was kind of coming to an end, and I needed the combat. I had the thirst for it, and so I went to the boxing gym. I went up. I went up to San Luis Obispo area, and I boxed with this guy who was his father's a very famous '70s boxer, not his father, but his cousin, something relative. He had 8 pro fights. I never put boxing gloves on before. Got in the ring and I boxed him up pretty good. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just went in there and boxed. This guy had 8 fights. knocked the snot out of him. Got it on videotape, so I'm not making stories up. And said, I got to do this. And everybody back in the day, every tough guy back in the day, I'm going to beat up Mike Tyson. And I was gung ho to go beat up Mike Tyson. So I went to the Westminster boxing gym. Went in there. Tyrell Biggs is in there banging away with Matt Kurihara. I'm just some white kid, don't know nothing. Said, I want to start boxing. Matt Kurihara said, let's do it. Had my first fight within 6 weeks. Noe Cruz took over. Mexican trained Carlos Palomino, showed me how to throw punches, and there I was, boxing away. That's how my boxing started.
Cool story. So you still have that videotape?
Yep. And I got one of Don Fry stepping on my foot when I had him on Queer Street. They were going to do a movie with me. And so I had a little bit of pullback in those days, believe it or not. The main dog. And I said, hey, I need this movie company shooting this. And they said, okay, whatever, as long as they don't put it out there. So I have that. And etc.
That would be great to get on digital and throw it out there someday.
Yeah, I have so much stuff. I like a big trash bag full of stuff. I don't even care about this stuff anymore. Everybody just makes up their own stories about what goes down. It's nuts.
Well, now those gym boxing videos are really popular on YouTube.
Yeah, so I started boxing, and then Ultimate Fighting came along, and there it was. I used to cry, like, not really cry, but like whine, like, why this boxing bullshit is bullshit, man. I need a real fight. And I used to say back in the day, I go, you guys, this boxing gym is just full of bunch of pussies. I go, if a van full of wrestlers came in here and said, let's fight, you'd all run to the payphone and call the cops. I go, now, if all you boxers got in the van and drove to the wrestling room and said, let's fight, all the wrestlers would take you down and start fighting. That's the difference in mentalities. And that's what was going down. And so I went out and had my amateur boxing matches. And I was into George Foreman, and I went out there to watch him fight. And then I was crazier than a shit house rat, drunker and shit. And there with a friend, and we saw George walking out of a lobby at a hotel, and I was like starstruck. It's like, man, that guy's my idol. And the night went on. It was Tuesday night fights or something. Sean O'Grady and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, we ended up going to some Zelda's or something. I don't know if it's still there or not. This is decades ago. Getting drunker and skunks, and then we wanted to go find George Foreman. Drunker and shit, and I got pulled over. I was going to tackle him. He would have beat the holy hell out of me and my friend. He would have just smoked us. Anyways, fate intervened and I got a DUI. I woke up the next day and thanked everything that moved. It would have been great getting my ass kicked by George Foreman. Funny as fuck.
Yeah, something to talk about for sure.
Oh yeah.
Someone wants to know about your knockout of Cabbage. How did that feel, that memorable KO?
Yeah, the Cabbage story here. Another thing, and you call them excuses, I call them reasons. He cut my forehead with a knee, but he had a training tape of me, and he knew that I was going to bob and weave, so he had a little heads up. He had a tape of me that was real fresh that he got through the UFC I don't know who gave it to him, and I really don't care. But he split my forehead open, and they were putting some kind of adrenaline stuff to stop the bleeding. And he said, "You okay? Can you see?" And I said, "No, you got shit in my eye, like get the gook out of it." And Big John McCarthy just looking for any excuse. He's not my fan. He's, "Oh, that's it. Stop the fight." I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? You said you couldn't see." I go, "Oh my God." Everybody saw the fiasco that happened afterward. John Marsh got him, threw a water bottle at him, etc. Anyway, so then I guess they thought I was an easy mark and they were going to take me over to Hawaii and beat me up on the rock. And we all saw the punch. And, I kind of worked on that punch, not like on purpose, but like I would go with the punch mitts and Tyrone Bennett, my trainer, would walk away, or I'd walk away and I'd get tired and then I'd turn around and crack him and I'd call it my cocktail punch. And that's what he got, the cocktail punch. And that son of a bitch broke my hand. I want medical payments for that.
Yeah, there's no pension plan for fighters or extended medical coverage past the day of fights, is there?
No. That's all right, though. Got to do what you got to do, man. You ain't cry about it. What, I got $2,000 for my first show. Are you kidding me? Like $2,000. I fought 3 times. It was the best night of my life. Man, it was great. Talk about everything that you could ever think of. And what a great feeling it was. Las Barriles, 2,000. Ah,
Someone wanted to know if you think any of the fighters today could have made it back in the old school days of no weight classes and fighting 3 times a night.
well, okay. Who's Mr. Natural guy? Whatever. Well, that Randy Couture kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he think that he was a heavyweight and try to fight Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, and it didn't work out too well for him.
Right. So anybody under 200 pounds really shouldn't fight in a tournament. Um, so there you go. You get rid of just about everybody except for the heavyweights. An average good heavyweight will beat anybody. That's why they have weight classes. I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, everybody gets all these like fights through proxy, by proxy. If you're a little guy, you can be into all the little guys, and if you're a roidhead, you can be into the roidhead guys, and if you're like the Street Fighter hell raising guy, you can be into me or whatever, which is not really who I am, but you can act like I'm that way. I'll be that way for you. Whatever. Just it is what it is.
I'm guessing the answer is probably no, but Mr. Raccoon wants to know, did anyone try to rib you in WCW?
They probably did, and I didn't know it. That's how smart I am.
Did you did you
You know
bang
what?
any of
I
the
don't
Nitro
care.
girls, by the way?
Oh, let me see. I didn't do anybody, and look at me. I'm not exactly the cutest guy in the world, but don't leave your girlfriend around me because I do have a little bit of game. Believe it or not. Ha.
Yeah, give us some tips. I'm always looking for tips because now I'm single.
Oh, you want some tips? I can tell you the number one deal that'll get you the women, and that's don't act like me, and you'll be all set.
Paid Programming wants to know, have you watched any good movies and what's your favorite movie?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Are you? Oh, all right. Yeah, I realize it's been decades, but I am notorious for partying hard. And yes. What was the question again? Movies.
Yeah.
Yes, I start getting into that party scene. And the movies that are definitely on my list are Leaving Las Vegas and Barfly. I've lived Barfly. I know Barfly. I've lived Leaving Las Vegas. I've done both of them. And let me tell you something. Uh, they're realistic movies. Crazy. And like I was telling you, crazy, I wouldn't live by time. I would just get drunk, pass out, go to sleep, eat. I didn't care what time it said on the clock. I just was, when I was awake and conscious, I was partying. It didn't matter if it was 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. That's how I was rolling. And
Is it bad that I still think that sounds fun?
oh, as fun as you can imagine. It was like, what time is it? It was like, I don't know. Forever. And then to accentuate it, it was like, oh shit, let's go to Costa Rica. Oh shit, let's go to Mexico. I used to go down to this place, a fishing village, and see a Cortez by myself all the time. Drink Pacificos, go fishing, just chill. It's a great time down there.
Now, I know your answer is going to be yes, but this guy wants to know, would you have won the WWE Brawl for All?
Well, you know the answer, sure. I'm, anybody that's a fighter is always going to win. If you're a fighter, you sit there and go, oh well, that guy might be able to kick my ass, or oh well, I might lose there. And you're not a fighter. Give it up. Go swim.
Yeah. Do you think they made a mistake there after like Bart Gunn destroyed all of the wrestling competition to put him in there against Butterbean and pretty much
Oh yeah, that
it
was
was
rough.
supposed to be you, wasn't it? You were in consideration.
Well, they were all talking about all sorts of things, and nothing ever panned out. I was talking to them, Bruce Pritchard and the JR guy and all them, and I don't know. If you get the book Walter Fox after he fights in this NHB show, he goes to some professional wrestling show they had back at Happening Beach, and there was an organization there that started the ball rolling. So he always kind of had some loyalty to them, and so when he was talking with the W, or not him, but when I was talking to the WWE, I already kind of had some strong feelings, not that couldn't be overcome by money, but some loyalty first meeting things with Eric Bischoff, and that's what I went with. And Eric was a stand-up guy all the way across the board for everything he said.
Philip Thornton wants to know, how were your interactions with Ric Flair in WCW?
Ric Flair is a cool guy. He did his thing, and everybody in the business did their own thing. And I don't have a bad word to say about anybody in wrestling except for the other two that I had to. But you want to know what? Because I'm working on myself. You always got to tune yourself up and ask yourself what makes you tick and stuff like that. So you know what? I put myself in Lex Luger's shoes, and I can see myself shooting from where he shot from. So I kind of rescind my bad feelings for him. And Terry Taylor, he's just a dick. You know what? I always say there's a special place, and I got like a memory like an elephant. And someday, timing will happen. I will meet you, and we will have a conversation. And I've had conversations with people before. It's funny, they never tell you.
Taylor, a lot of people don't like him, and I don't know. I don't think he's ever really. He's just a great politician. He always gets positions in companies, and that's
I understand the whole back thing, but he maliciously did things to screw me over. And when you do that, I maliciously do things to screw you over. And I'm not dead yet.
so. Someone find out when Terry Taylor does another autograph signing and invite Tank to it, and have the cameras ready.
Ah, Las Barillas. It's all timing, man. Timing.
Now, someone earlier was asking about Rick Steiner. Would you have beat him in a legitimate MMA fight had it happened?
We all know the answers. I'm going to beat everybody, but Rick's a tough guy. Both the Steiners are tough guys. And, I throw compliments around like manhole covers. Everybody in wrestling is a tough guy. That doesn't mean they're skilled fighters or anything like that, but they're, for the most part, tough men.
Well, let me end it on this question then, because this is topical. They just made CM Punk the AEW champion. Do you think it's good to make the guy the face of your company who didn't even land one strike in his MMA fights? Or does it matter?
You know what? I think it doesn't really matter. And so here's the deal. Well, no one ever really thought that CM Punk was a tough guy to begin with. I never thought that. I was kind of shocked that he went out and tried it. But so what does it? It doesn't really. I don't know. That's why those guys get paid the money to figure it out.
I think they're paying him between 3 and 5 million is the rumor, but I even think after your transplants, he wouldn't stand a chance against you.
No, you know what? I'm physically getting back, and like I said, I grew up 5 years junior of my brother, so I know how to behave. I just sit back and be quiet, and I got dinged up pretty good. It's like a truck ran me over, so I know to sit back and just be quiet, and I just let people say their stuff and do their thing. That's all. And that's all that CM Punk's doing. He's doing his thing, and good luck to him.
Chris has a good question here about how many bar fights have you been in? I've been attacked in bars at least 200 times from bouncing, so I imagine it's got to be more than that.
I would guesstimate that. I sit back and I don't really consider fighting before I was 16 a fight. I mean, once you get up and driving around, then you start to see the world, and then you start fighting grown-up people. And I would say during that time, I was breaking down altercations everywhere, and hundreds is easy to say. And I've beaten opponents 1 inch from life to letting them go with a slap, depending on where they want to take it. I'm telling you, I'm a nice guy. I just don't get it.
Very good. Now, we talked earlier, you put out a couple books. Where are they available if people want to order them?
Okay, it's on Amazon Books. There's 3 of them. They're all done now. It's a story of this guy named Walter Fox that was graduating from college, didn't know what the hell he was going to do, ended up getting in an altercation that changed his life. And before you know it, it's the end of the book. And he just got done fighting in a no holds barred fighting show, something they never had seen before in their life. And it ends with him signing a contract and being on TV.
So fans can look that up on Amazon and to get
It's Before There Were Rules on Amazon.com books. If you're not into reading, I wrote a 900 plus page novel. Not even reading the whole thing. The last book sums it all up. It's a good start off. And if you like Walter, you can go back and see where he came from.
And you do have an Instagram page, which I believe your wife helps you run.
Right.
Is tank.abbott for people that want to look that up. And I'll even put it up on the screen in a second here. And she posts pictures pretty regularly of you on there.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on the mood, you know. I was trying to think about content. Anyways, yeah. So, what the hell was I thinking about? I don't know. Yeah. So Sally does all those things, and there's my page. Yeah, Sally helps me.
What's that about Shale Soden on there?
Well, he did a thing on my books, and so I put it on there. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, a little story about Chael. Seems back in the day on my second show, I lived in Orem, Utah, and I trained with Mark Schultz, the world champion wrestler, for 5 weeks. And Chael Sonnen was a wrestler on his team. And small world that it is, we known each other since way back then. And he ended up checking my books out and did a little review on them.
I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. He has a really good YouTube channel, and he's been attacked recently or something at a hotel, and now he has to deal with a legal situation out of it.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is just ridiculous. All that kind of stuff used to be squashed and settled and done with way back when, and then now we produce this offspring of pussies. It's terrible.
I mean, it sounds stupid, but if you're a famous fighter now, you kind of need bodyguards just to protect yourself from the people that are going to try and sue you.
Absolute true statement, and you know I have empathy for Chael, and I have empathy for Chael, and it's a terrible scene, just like that Mike Tyson thing on the airplane.
Luckily, it sounds like that's going to turn out in Mike Tyson's favor because that guy had a criminal history, and it's.
Oh yeah, and then they think that they got legal on their side. It's just terrible. I stay in your lane. I stay in my lane. Do whatever you want to do. Live and let live, man. I don't care. Woohoo!
Whoever, like, it doesn't matter if you know fighting or not. Mike Tyson is one of the most famous people in the world. You would think the airline stewardesses would pay closer attention to him when he's on their plane, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, and then like that guy's gonna walk off and talk like he's a tough guy. Everybody has their narrative about what they did. I got bozos that talk about stupid ass stuff that didn't even exist, and even if it did, they twist it into their own little stupid stories. And I feel sorry for Mike. It's bad. These people are crazy.
People love twisting stories around, and the sad part is most people will just believe whatever they hear, but it's all good as long as they're talking about us, right?
Yeah, you never know. Exactly right. And I just people don't bother me. You know how many fools that have come up and said stuff? No one has ever gotten off on me. Trust me. All these fools that they say things about me, or whatever. It's all words. So who cares? I don't.
I noticed Dave Meltzer never really has much positive to say about you.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you this. It's weird that you brought it up because he says that he's seen me kissing another guy, and
I've heard him say that. That's exactly why I was bringing it up, but I didn't
and I'm
want
gonna tell you, it might be true. And I really don't care. I'm not homosexual. I'm not homophobic either. But I usually don't kiss and tell. But it was him, the guy that he saw me kissing. He had his eyes open, and it was him that he saw me kissing.
Well, many people would definitely believe that because he like
Hey, who cares? You know what? I've kissed guys. I don't care.
it's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. Why shouldn't you be able to say it? But
Woohoo! Go out there and do your thing, gay guys. I don't care. Gee.
but what I don't like about the only thing I have a problem with is the gay people is they act like people are only hating on them, but they hate on any celebrities that post pictures with.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
you post a picture with Sally. I'm sure there's people hating. Why is she with you? Blah blah blah. Like,
oh, the haters are out there. Hey, guess what, haters? I hope you're doing better than me. But I don't think so. And I don't care.
and there is a thing in fighting that not many people talk about, but a lot of MMA fighters are actual bisexual. You probably know about it too, right?
No, that's the first time I heard it.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No, shit. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, I won't get into it, but there's a whole thing that we won't get into on this podcast because YouTube is
Hey, where's
strict.
the grenade?
But I'll let you close this off with whatever you want to say. He has a battle going on with Mercedes right now. Go to
Yeah,
the very start of this if you want to hear about that.
yeah. Hey, Mercedes and whatever. I mean, they try to sell me a lemon, in my view, and like I said, I've been a proud owner of Mercedes since 1999. Hell, I got three cars, three of them in my garage right now. And Fletcher Jones of Newport, it seems, pulled a fast one. And oh, there's another thing. Fletcher Jones is Las Vegas. Excellent professional, on great company, ran like a professional company. Unlike Newport, there was some guy there. He's like named after some actor and wearing some cheap suit. Just that typifies Newport Mercedes. Fletcher Jones was that guy. Anyways, in my view, they tried to rip me off, and all I wanted was, and all I do want is my money back. And I even wanted to. I was going to buy like a Sprinter or something like that, just something. Nothing. And I don't know what's up. I thought Mercedes. I'm totally disappointed in them. I thought they would be much better than the response and service. And you know what? What I got my car back after it was there for like 30 days. The guy goes, I wouldn't drive this back across the desert. I would tell you to get a flatbed to tow it back. I said, okay, I'll call Mercedes. And he goes, then you can take it to Newport. I said, okay. I called Mercedes-Benz USA and told them that. And they said, nope, we don't do that. Sorry. I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I just spent a lot of money in anybody's book, a lot of money for this car. And you're telling me, whoop, whoop. That's the service I'm getting from Mercedes-Benz USA and Fletcher Jones, Newport. Thoroughly disappointed.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please help me out and like this video, then click the subscribe and get notifications buttons so you don't miss any of my latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news.